CTV News at 5 with Marina Moore and Tony Rima with weather.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. The provincial government has announced a major project along Highway 69 south of Sudbury. And although it was not for the 4-laning of the final stretch, it is a step toward that work. CTV's Angela Gemmell explains.
The Ontario government calls the widening of Highway 69 a priority project. But before it can get to 4-laning the final 68 kilometers, the province has announced it's working with CN Rail to relocate a section of train tracks north of Key River.
It will clear the way for construction of a new interchange and Highway 522 and the next phase of widening along the corridor. And this work is a part of a much broader push to accelerate progress on Highway 69.
With the busy Highway 69 as the backdrop for the news conference, the Minister of Transportation calls this realignment the next step before 4-laning work can begin.
We recognize the concerns from the residents here along the stretch of Highway 69, but I think for us the most important thing is how do we get a shovel in the ground as quickly as possible, which will then help dictate the timelines on that.
According to the minister, the 4-laning of the final 68 kilometers of Highway 69 will be broken up into 6 smaller projects. 4 of those will begin over the next year. But the minister stopped short of saying when that work might begin and, more importantly, when it would be finished.
God bless you, press, for asking when it's going to be done. The important thing is we're getting started. We put a timeline around that. We put a timeline around the project here with the rail line. And I think people in this area and anyone that travels this highway corridor is going to be and should be excited about this news today.
Given the recent escalation in the trade war, the Minister of Northern Economic Development says it's essential Ontario move forward with this road project.
Yes, this will get done because it's a national priority. It means that we will retain our sovereignty, and the United States under Trump is not going to take that away from us.
Angela Gemmell, CTV News, north of Key River.
Time now for our first check on weather and a little break from the rain today, but how long will it last? For the details, we go to CTV's Amanda Hicks. She's filling in for Tony Rima.
Thanks for that, Marina. We did get a break today, but yes, it's going to be a short-lived one. Your first look at weather is brought to you by CAA. You can become a member at getcaa.ca. So what are we looking at for the rest of the week? So we've got a chance of showers across much of the region for the rest of the week. Also got temperatures dropping a fair bit as well. Some single-digit temperatures overnight depending on where you are. So it is going to feel a little bit fall-like out there, but the sunshine is going to return. I'll tell you when a little bit later on, but for now, Marina, I'm going to send it back to you.
All right, thank you for that, Amanda. Fire officials in Sault Ste. Marie are conducting a review after several issues battling a fire that started in a shed. The fire was on Prentice Avenue, August 13th. The call came in at 5:24 p.m. according to the Sault's fire chief, but crews were initially sent to the wrong address and did not arrive on scene until 5:35. Once on scene, fire crews encountered problems with fire hydrants that were not available. The fire that started in the shed spread to the house, causing significant damage. The fire also damaged 2 neighboring dwellings. The fire chief says the review is ongoing. A 63-year-old man in Sault Ste. Marie has been charged with assault after an incident involving a hatchet. Police say they responded to an assault on Wellington Street East Friday morning. Through the investigation, police say they learned the victim had been struck with a hatchet, which was also used to damage property. The victim and accused were known to each other. The 63-year-old was charged with assault with a weapon and mischief. Several federal ministers hosted a press conference today outlining Canadian retaliatory tariffs, along with measures to support Canadian businesses, including Thunder Bay MP and Minister responsible for FedNor, Patty Hajdu.
I'm from Northern Ontario, and I can tell you that we've seen this in softwood lumber and in pulp and paper over many, many years. And so this is an experience that workers are familiar with, and it's why there's so much worry and anxiety across Canada, because people have felt the impact of these things before. Yes, not on the same scale, at the same speed that we've seen, but certainly in pockets of industry that have faced unjust tariffs, faced economic warfare, and that has a direct impact on livelihoods, on families, families and indeed deeply on communities.
The federal government announced $7.5 billion in new and enhanced measures supporting workers and businesses. They include extending temporary provisions on waiving the 1-week EI waiting period and providing an extra 20 weeks of EI benefits for long-tenured workers. There's also a suite of grants and interest-free loans for businesses. Canada's counter-tariffs target $27.6 billion worth of American imports. Minister Champagne says for each product, the Canadian tariff will match the American tariff. We'll take a closer look at the tariffs and new business supports coming up on CTV News at 6. The American tariffs are hitting the visual arts sector particularly hard. One Sudbury artist hopes the supports announced today will support the arts and as exporting to the U.S. becomes too expensive. CTV's Alana Everson reports.
Mark Gagne says the trade war over the last year has effectively ruined his online art business.
My immediate reaction is frustration and anger. It's been kind of difficult for the last year, with all the back and forth.
Gagne, a graduate of the Cambridge College Fine Arts program, calls his style of art cute and creepy.
I do like sort of little fantasy creatures, and I do original illustrations of those, and I insert them in like old sort of thrift store paintings to give them new life and keep them out of landfill.
Among the Canadian art being tariffed, paintings, drawings, collages, sculptures, original prints, and bone and antler works.
Generally, my sales are about 80 to 90% of my total sales are to the U.S., which is definitely going to hurt me with the tariffs. Myself and a lot of other artists and creatives are kind of at a loss at what to do, and we're worried and stressed for our livelihoods.
Gagne would like to see the Canadian government support and invest in the arts more, saying the basis for any great society is the arts and how it's supported. He's also encouraging Canadians to support local artists. Alana Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
Time now for a quick break. Coming up on CTV News at 5, Amanda has your full weather forecast. For now, let's take a live look at conditions in Timmins, where you can see quite a lovely evening at Gillies Lake. Blue skies, just a few clouds. We'll take it before more rain to come. Details ahead.
Welcome back. Well, we saw a beautiful day across much of the Northeast today. Got to see some sunshine out there, above seasonal conditions as well. It was around 24 degrees today. And as we saw before the break, Gillies Lake and Timmins looking beautiful still. That is going to change though as we head into midweek and get closer to the weekend. As you can see in the forecast radar, a bit of scattered shower activity continuing Thursday morning, moving out of the region by the time it's Thursday evening. And then let's take a look at how much we're going to see over the next few days. There are 30 millimeters of rain in North Bay, but more or less, depending on where you are, only 10 in Elliott Lake. So depends on where you are, of course. But let's take a look at the 5-day forecast, starting with Sudbury Nickel Belt. So we've got a chance of showers, risk of thunderstorms for tomorrow, high of 24, falling to 18 degrees on Thursday. So that's below seasonal, chance of showers. Only 8 degrees for the low overnight, quite chilly there. Chance of showers continuing on Friday, but by the time Saturday rolls around, we see a little bit of sunshine, getting up to a high of 22. For Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, chance of showers, risks of thunderstorms for tomorrow, high of 21, 20 on Thursday with a chance of showers. Nice day on Friday, though, to start the weekend, sitting at 20 degrees, 21 on Saturday with cloudy skies. For Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, chance of showers, risk of thunderstorms for tomorrow, high of 23, continuing into Thursday. And then by Friday, might see a few sunny breaks there, getting up to 18 degrees, and then sunny skies on Saturday with a high of 22. For Timiskaming Shores, Kirkland Lake, chance of showers, risk of thunderstorms for tomorrow, high of 24, 18 on Thursday. Single digit lows overnight, 8 degrees, 9 degrees overnight on Friday, getting up to a high of 18 though, with a chance of showers, and then sunshine on Saturday with a high of 21. And finally for North Bay, West Nipissing, chance of showers for tomorrow, high of 25, 18 on Thursday, cooling off a bit on Thursday with the chance of showers. Chance of showers continuing into Friday with a high of 18, and then by Saturday we see the sunshine return again and getting up to a high of 22. So Marina, we're going to see some showers, but we are going to see some sunshine return once again. Sending it back to you.
Thank you, Amanda. A northern township has extended its deadline to register as a candidate for the upcoming municipal election after no one registered by Friday. Residents in Fauquier-Strickland, northwest of Timmins, between Smooth Rock Falls and Kapuskasing, will have until 2 p.m. tomorrow to put their name in for municipal council. The township made headlines last year when it started to shut down operations. The mayor, Madeleine Tremblay, saying at the time in a letter to the ministry her community was facing complete financial collapse, leaving residents without essential services. The province did provide emergency support while council raised property taxes by 20%. The township has 5 council seats to fill, including the mayor's. According to the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing, this is how things will work for the community. If at least 3 candidates are acclaimed or elected, then the remaining seats can be appointed to people who have consent to take on the role. If the township does not have enough candidates for a minimum of 3 people, then by-elections will run until the vacant seats can be filled. In this event, the ministry says the outgoing council would stay on until a new council has quorum. The Social Services Board in the District of Nipissing says it's expanding one of its phases of the transitional housing service known as Northern Pines at the end of the month. CTV's Eric Tashner tells us more.
Northern Pines is expanding what's known as Phase 3 of its transitional housing complex next week.
How do you take people off the street, put them through a program, and then get them to the point where they're able to live independently without relying on all these services. 2
trailers are set up at the transitional housing complex, creating 24 additional staff-supported units. At the same time, accessible low-barrier shelter services will continue to operate on a 24/7 basis at the site. Shelter and transitional housing services are delivered by the Crisis Center.
The numbers at Northern Pines are actually twice the capacity. So there are a lot of people turned away at night, which is an unfortunate situation.
Transitional housing, DSAB says, gives individuals with private spaces the help they need to work toward their long-term housing goals. Besides beds, Northern Pines offers a separate daytime programming area and helps individuals connect with housing support services throughout the day. Phase 3 provides independent living on site, where individuals apply the life skills they've learned every day. But once they're ready to move on...
The issue that we've had, and this is what we've tried to explain to the provincial government, there's no affordable housing.
Northern Pines is also a hub for coordinated health and social services in one location and includes income support and community paramedicine program services. At the same time, DSAB is continuing to push for sustainable, long-term funding from both the provincial and federal governments, as demand for homelessness services remains significant across the district. Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
Coming up on CTV News at 5, Sudbury is ready to sing along with Glass Tiger. Plus, it's time to stock the shelves. How are local food banks doing as donations slow during the summer months? Food banks around the north are struggling to keep up with increased use at food banks this summer. CTV's Madison Merrier tells us more.
Sudbury's food bank says April to October are when donations slow down and shelves become emptier.
It's about 1,800 people in total between January and the end of July that are new users to our food bank. And in the first quarter it was only 579. Now that's not individual users, that's also including children. And we have the demographics that show that there are more people that are accessing our food banks than ever before.
Sault Ste. Marie Salvation Army Food Bank confirms it's an issue across the north.
It's actually scary sometimes when you walk into the back room to see what's there and the shelf, and there's so many empty shelves. And yeah, we have canned tomatoes, probably a 2-year supply of canned tomatoes, but you can't feed people with tomatoes. But yeah, it's an ongoing issue. This is the worst year I think I've ever seen.
Labby says what used to last them 4 months is now only lasting them 2.5 months, and the organization is spending around $120,000 to $150,000 a month on grocery orders to fill the demand as much as possible.
Everything is so expensive now that people can't afford to donate as much as they used to. And we noticed immediately after the layoffs were announced here at the steel plant that donations dropped dramatically, and they have not bounced back.
Only 40% of the people using food banks are on Ontario Works or ODSP. The 60% are actually working poor.
Both food banks are relying on grocery partnerships. However, Labby says the introduction of grocery discount apps are reducing the amount of food coming into the Sudbury Food Bank by over 67,000 pounds. And she says it's making it harder to fill up the empty shelves at this time of year. Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
Pop rock music fans will be at Bell Park's Grace Hartman Amphitheatre tomorrow night when Canada's Glass Tiger hits the stage. While the Newmarket-based group has been inducted into Canada's Music Hall of Fame and the Walk of Fame in Toronto, original keyboardist Sam Reed says the guys are just grateful for the opportunity to play the hits after decades together.
After 40 plus years, to be still, with our band of brothers on the road, still singing songs and getting the fans to sing along, and we're booking shows well into 2028. So it doesn't look like there's any reason to not do that. Well, if we all stay healthy and we're still having a great time, then we're delighted to be able to still be out here and perform the way we do.
And by the way, Glass Tiger headlines for several local singers and groups tomorrow night beginning at 6. And a couple of our colleagues here at CTV will be sharing the stage. Watch for the band Tea and Tequila featuring our very own Mike Corelli and Rick Tompkins. Sure, they're going to rock the stage. When we return, it's Take Me Home Tuesday. You're watching First at 5.
Welcome to another edition of Take Me Home Tuesday. And of course, I'm joined by Emma Bailey from the Sudbury SPCA. Emma, of course, always so great to see you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having us.
And you're going to talk about a face that we might recognize. Talk about Odin.
Yeah, so this is Odin. He's been on Take Me Home Tuesday before, but he's one of our long-term residents now. So he's been with us over 2 months. We're hoping to find that forever home for him now. He's only 3 years old, so he's just full of energy and love. And he is looking for a home where he can be the only pet in the house. But other than that, he's just so sweet. He's eager to learn, and he just can't wait to find his forever home.
And I guess, you talked about how much energy he has. Talk about his personality a little bit more.
Absolutely. One thing that we found out he loves is playing fetch and playing with his ball. So he's great at fetch. He'll bring it right back to you. He can catch the ball in his mouth. Like, he's so sweet. I know I'm talking about you. There's your ball. And so with that, he's learning sit. He's learning to lay down. He's just getting smarter and smarter every day. So we're looking for a home that can keep up with that training and deal with his drool. He's quite the lover. So, so excited. He also loves car rides. So just anyone that can keep him active and keep up his enrichment. Good job. We're just looking for that perfect home.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's very good. Like, he's very attentive and very warm, very cuddly. He seems very affectionate as well too. What kind of a home would be best suited for him? I know you mentioned that he shouldn't be with, other animals in the home. He's the main focus in the home.
Yes, the king of the castle. He's looking for that solo home so we can get all that attention. Other than that, we think he'd do good with kids. He would love just hanging out with a family. He's just such a goofball but even for like a first-time dog owner, he'd be so great because he's just eager to learn, other than all of his energy, which is just something we expect. He's just such a lovable boy, so we're hoping to find that home. And he goes home neutered, microchipped, vaccinated, and with Royal Canin pet food too, to help with the transition.
And any medical concerns that anyone should be aware of?
Oh my goodness, no, nothing of concern, which is fantastic. And then if anything pops up, we're happy to go over it with our RVT and whoever his adopters are too. So if you're looking to meet Odin, we're happy to just do a walk-in. You can stop by anytime and see if he's the right pup for you.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Emma. So great seeing you.
Thank you for having us.
That was Emma Bailey from the Sudbury SPCA. And if you want to learn more about Odin, give her a call.
Our first community close-up comes to us from Greater Sudbury, where the Memorial Park Social Series is wrapping up its final week of community activities for the summer in the downtown green space. Tomorrow will be the final day for drop-in games and music from 12 until 2 p.m. Thursday will be the final session for yoga in the park, running from 12 until 12:45. Heading over to Sault Ste. Marie, where Latin Fest by La Casa is coming up on August 29th. Organizers say whether you're coming for the food, the music, the dancing, or simply to experience the vibrant flavors of Latin culture, Latin Fest is the place to be. All of the fun takes place at the Roberta Bonder Pavilion between noon and 8 p.m. And the Batchewana First Nation powwow is scheduled for this weekend. Events will take place on the 29th and 30th on the Rankin Powwow grounds. Organizers say there will be traditional dancing across multiple categories, as well as drumming groups, singing, food vendors, and craft vendors. And finally for us tonight, the Toronto Zoo is sharing an update on its baby giraffe as it marks 6 months since she was born. Imara was born in February, and zoo staff say she's grown a lot. She's now more than 8 feet tall and weighs more than 560 pounds. Zoo staff describe her as curious, adventurous, and confident. They say she continues to explore her surroundings and learn from her mother. Of course, learning from the very best. That's all the time we have. See you on CTV News at 6.